First, I like to just clean my face. I picked up these facial wipes from Dollar Tree. They're just black charcoal wipes. And I'm going to go straight into straightening out my brows. I'm just using a spoolie brush just to make sure all my hairs are standing up straight, so when I go in to draw them, they're not in my way. Using the Anastasia Brow Wiz pencil in dark brown, I'm just carving out my brow. I always like to start from the beginning and then work my way all the way to the end. I'm just going to speed this up a little bit because it kind of takes me a while to make the perfect brow, and in this video I don't even think I made the perfect brow. I just did like a normal quick brow, doing the bottom, going to the top, filling it in at the end because I shaved my ends off, and then I just brushed the hair up and work my way over to the other brow. I'm going to skip the other brow and go straight into carving out my brow. I just used the Tarte concealer to carve out my brow. I slap it on first with the applicator from the Tarte concealer, and then I carve out my brow. I'm using this Wet n Wild brush because I couldn't find my normal brush that I use, so I just used that Wet n Wild flat brush to carve out the bottom of my brow. And I'm just going to speed it up because I fill it in, carve it out, fill it in, carve it out. I'm going to speed it up, and I'm also going to skip doing the other brow and get straight into how I do the top of my brow. And there we go, both brows at the bottom are done. Now let's get into the top of the brow. I use a different shade, a little darker, to carve out the top of my brow. I like to use the side of the brush to carve it out, and then I just blend it up into my forehead. I'm going to speed it up and like skip over doing the other brow so we can get straight into how I do my eyes, which is the most important part of this video. You see me just brushing up my brows, making sure they're even. At one point I kind of like just got over it and like trying to make these brows perfect, and I'm like, whatever, I'll come back to it at the end. Going under my brow, I'm using James Charles shade Punch Me just to go under there. Oh no, I'm not, I lied. Actually, that was setting powder. That was the MAC, actually, the MAC Prep and Prime, I think it was, setting powder. I don't know, I'm gonna put it under in the description bar. But I was just setting the concealer that was under my under my brow. I was setting it so it doesn't move. Right now, I'm just moisturizing my face with some primer, Wet n Wild Dewy primer, and I think I used BECCA. Yeah, BECCA backlighting primer. Now I'm going in under my brow with the shade Punch Me from the James Charles Morphe brush palette, just to give the darker shade that I'm going to put under there something just to blend into. This shade that I'm using is like a soft brown tan color. The color name is T in the James Charles palette. I'm just using that. Actually, I didn't even know I was going to use that color. I just was like, what the heck, let's try it, see what it looks like. I didn't even really like it in the beginning because I think that I went too dark, but I'm like, whatever, I'm just going to blend it out, make it fade out, and then I'm going to add in another color. Going right over my natural crease, I'm going to use the shade Benny just to add some depth to my cut crease. When I go to cut it, I want it to look like really deep, so I just add like a darker shade over there. I'm going to blend it right out real fast, quick, fast in a hurry, do my other eye, and then I'm going to go straight into cutting my crease. I use the INGLOT liner in shade 94 to cut my crease. I'm going to speed this up a little bit because it kind of takes me a while to cut my crease. And I don't even like this crease that I cut this time around. So I'm just going to skip over it, do the other eye, and get straight into how I do my shadows. In my inner corner, I'm using the JLARUE white gold pigment. I got this pigment from Beauty by Melissa. I always use it in my inner corner just to add some like brightness to my eyes when I do glitter. Just to add some transition so it doesn't just look like one little shade. It makes the eyes pop too. To get my glitter to stick, I just use the duo lash glue. I just put it over my cut crease, over my lid, and then I dab in the glitter. I start with the inner corner, then I'll do the outer corner, then I'll do the middle part of my eye, just because I don't want it to look lumpy. So to make it even, I like to go in, out, then in the middle. I'm gonna speed it up and then do the other eye, speed that up, so I can show you guys how I add those glitter chunks, the ones that make the eye really pop. And here we go. Now these glitter chunks is like the hardest thing to do. I like to use tweezers, pick them up one by one. I grab it with a tweezer, add the glue to it, and then I place it on my lid. I like to focus them all in the center of my lid because that just makes it look cute. Jumping right into the liner. I'm using e.l.f.'s black liner. I love this liner. Like, I don't use no other kind of liner. I like to start in the middle of my eye and then I drag it all the way out to the end. I start in the middle because that can just like help me pick like how high up I want my liner to go and how angled I want it to go. And then at the end I just like draw a triangle to attach it to the liner and fill it in. Boy oh boy, now this white liner. When I tell you this is the hardest part, because the white liner can make or break your eye look, period. Like, you can make that too thick, you can mess up the black liner, you can go up too high, like any little thing. So you got to be really careful. Like, I'm speeding this up, but I'm actually like doing tiny strokes all the way until I get to the end. Then once I get that line, I go back and I do a second coat of the white liner over top of it. I make small strokes because I don't want it to crack. I found out that if you like try to use one long stroke, it has the potential of cracking, and that just looks a hot mess. This liner I picked up from AliExpress. It's not the NYX brand, it's from AliExpress, and I actually love it. I need to get more. Now, on to making that wing fleeky. I'm just adding that Tarte concealer under my wing just to make that line real sharp. I'm using a straight angle paintbrush. This is actually a paintbrush that I picked up from Michael's. It's straight, it's hard, and it makes the lines very, very sharp. I'm just blending that concealer down as much as I can so it fades into the foundation when I add the foundation. And then I'll do the same thing on the other eye. Honey, when I tell you, I'm probably like the only makeup artist who still use the LA Girl concealer, honey. I use my LA Girl. I don't care. I'm putting LA Girl concealer. I don't even know the shade. I have to look that up. I'm going to put that in the description. Everything that I use, I'm going to put it in the description under this. But I'm using the LA Girl just to go under my eyes, over my lip where my mustache is, that I really need to get waxed, like I'm playing myself. I just do my whole T-zone with that before I put my foundation on, just because that's where I want it to be the brightest. And so I do my concealer under, and I also do it on top. Some people do it under and that's it. Some people do it on top and that's it. I like mine to be real extra, so I just put it under first, and then I do my foundation, then I go back and put it on top again. I think I look like a bunny rabbit or something. The way that I put it on is so funny, but like during it I can see like how my face is just like transitioning into a whole new face. It's so funny to me. Now it's time for foundation. I am just putting my NARS foundation, like little drops, under my eye, on my forehead, and over my lip. I love a foundation that has the pump. Like this FITME foundation, I love it. I just wish it had a freaking pump. I'm using two different foundations, two different shades. I use a lighter shade in the middle on my T-zone, and then a slightly darker shade on the outer part of my face, because that's just how the average person face is. Like your face is not just one shade, so that's how I do mine. I'm using a flat brush from my makeup brush line to just blend it out a little bit, and then I'm going to use that same brush, just flip it over on the other end, and fill in the T-zone area that I put my NARS on. I like to fill that in, then I let it like sit just a little bit for like a second, not that long, and then I'll go in and blend it out with my beauty blender. Now it's time to blend the rose, mama. I be playing too much, but anyway. like I'm just blending those shades together with my bluey I am messing up this video, child. But with my beauty blender that is also from my brush line, I'm just blending it all together. All in this together. I don't remember the words, the rest of the words. That's the only part I remember. Ooh, that is a shame. But as you can see, it's all getting in there. It's all going together. Yes, mama. Blend, blend, blend. I be so serious about under my eyes. I don't even know that little face I be making. I be looking a mess, honey. But it's going to be cute at the end. And just blend, blend, blend. When I tell y'all, like, blend that makeup in, honey. Blend it all together. Seamless. Keep turning your head side to side to check and make sure, like, everything is blended. I even blend, like, it all the way up into, like, my hair a little bit. Because I need my face to be my face. It all to look the same. And it all to match. So I just be blending for, like, ever. But let me stop talking and speed this up a little bit. Okay, so the year of blending has come to an end. Now it's time to go into that T-zone. Going under my eye with my Tarte Shape Tape. I'm going to do my T-zone area. Hurry up, girl. Move a little faster, mamas. Anyway, I'm just doing my under eye little contour highlight, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to do my forehead, my nose, my Cupid's bow, and my chin. I also use like a dot of a lighter shade on the inner corners of my eye and like the tippy middle part of my forehead, because I like it to be like boom baby, boom baby. It's like, no, but I do like it to pop. I love bright under eye. On me, of course. Just me. Some people don't like that. People are not that extra. It's just me. I'm going down the bridge of my nose. My big old nose. Cupid's bow. Why do you even call it a Cupid's bow? What is like so bow about it? What the fuck do your lip have to do with Cupid? I'm confused, but whatever. Going in again, honey. Child, see, she's so slow. But you see that? You see how it's like lighter right there? Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Okay, mama. Oh, and then here we go for the contour. Snatch those cheeks, mama. I have been really like snatching my cheeks because I've gained weight and my face is so chunky. So like I be trying to create some type of line, some type of girl, suck it in. Okay, mama. So that's kind of a dark shade that I'm using. That is from my e.l.f. contour palette. I love that contour palette. But the brush is a Real Techniques brush. I usually like my contour brush to be like a little bit stiffer. That brush is soft, like very soft. But for today, it works out pretty fine. I'm just going to carve out around my edges. And woo, child, look at those edges. But anyway, and I kind of like blended a little bit out. So like when I do my sponge work on it, it's not that much work that I have to do. So I'm just going to let you guys watch and I'll come back to explain the rest. Now for blending out the concealer, I kind of do this a little bit differently. I start with blending out my T-zone. I don't start in the inner corner of my eye. I start like right near the tip of my nose and blend that out. And then I go into blending out the inner corners of my eye because I want that inner corner to kind of still set a little bit because I am trying to cover up
all bags, all dark marks, all everything under there. I need that to look tight and bright. I just had to add this in. Let me just tell y'all about my beauty blenders. Like, they are just perfect. Like, they're so soft. They don't leave any lines. When you run them underwater, they don't lose their shape. Like, and they're just so soft. Like, when I restock my store and reopen my store online, you guys are going to go berserk about these sponges. Like, they're the best. I got so many reviews last year when I was selling them. Well, actually, I wasn't even selling them. I was giving them away with my brush sets. And everyone was like raving about them. Like, oh my gosh, I love your beauty blenders. But anyway, I know you guys are wondering, like, why the hell is she now putting setting powder under her eyes and didn't blend out the rest of her face? No, I like to set under my eyes before I blend out my contour. I like to set under my eyes so that it doesn't move, and then I'll go into my contour. I'm just using the Black Radiance setting powder to set up under my eyes. See, there she go. There goes the blend queen. It's like now I'm blending my contour into my highlight to make it like fade. Look at how my blender just makes it blend so seamlessly. Like, it just fades right in there, almost look airbrushed. I cannot wait to sell you guys these beauty blenders. Y'all are going to go berserk. Right here, I'm just carving out my contour just to give my face a little bit more of a snatched look. I carve it out. I don't really let this part sit that much. I carve it out, let it sit for like a second, and then I blend it right out, because I don't really like my contour to be too harsh, but I do want you to be able to see it. I'm just blending it out with that Real Techniques brush. Adding some blush over top of my contour is what I'm doing right here. I like to start my blush like right near my eyebrow a little bit and blend it forward and backward and forward and backward. Just make it look not too blushy, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. But I just blend it out on each side to make it look seamless. And then here, I'm adding my famous white liner. Everyone be like, oh my god, I love that white liner. I got this white liner from the hair store. I really don't even know who it's by. I'm going to try to research it, and hopefully I can add that into the description bar because the name kind of came off the liner. Here I'm just adding that neon pink color Skip from the James Charles palette right like under the white liner, just because when I add that glitter I want some type of popping color to help that glitter under my eye to pop. That's all I'm doing. That one shade, I'm blending it in under both eyes, and that's the only color that I'll be using under my eye. After adding a little mascara to my bottom lashes, I'm going to start to add the glitter chunks to my under eye. I do it the same way that I do it to my cut crease. I use my tweezers, I grab one chunk, I add glue to it, put it right under my under eye. At some point I got a little bit annoyed, so I just started to like create like a line of glue under my eye with the duo glue and a small liner brush, and then I added a little bit of glue to the tip of that brush so it can be a little tacky, and that's how I picked up the glitter chunks to add them to my under eye. So there's two ways. You can use the brush or you can use the tweezer, whichever one is better for you. This way was a little bit faster for me. I don't know why it didn't work for my cut crease, but it worked perfectly for my under eye. This part here, you just see me adding a little bit of glue to my inner corner because I'm going to add some of that fine glitter into my inner corner to give it a little bit of a pop. Yes, eyes. There we go. Yes, see? Now let's just add a little mascara to the little bit of eyelashes that I do still have. On to the lips we go. I always just carve out my natural lip line. No matter what color I'm using, I use a darker shade and carve out my natural lip line. This time I'm doing like an 80s nude type of lip, so I'm using a brown lip liner and carving out my lip line. I go a little bit above it because I like my lips to look a little bit larger than they actually are, even though I already have natural big lips. Going right over that lip line with a lip gloss that has a pink tint to it. I just put that right over the line, right over my lips, rub it in a little bit and do a second layer to make my lips look plump. We are going to just pop on some lashes and get straight into this highlight.
for my highlight, I used the Maybelline Master Chrome and highlight my nose, my forehead, and the sides of my cheeks. Topping this look off with some setting spray, and we're done. Yes, there she goes. Thanks for watching, guys. You can follow me on Instagram at Bijou Faces, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.